Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Today we are back with a Division Heartland video, the first one of 2022. I am stoked to be talking about it yet again, even if it's not the news we really want, like when's the game releasing, what features will the game have, when are you revealing it? But regardless, I'm just excited to be talking about Heartland again. I did a poll yesterday asking you guys if you wanted this news update, even though it is relatively minor, so thank you all very much for voting and indulging my desire to talk about my most anticipated game of 2022 once more. That said, we do have some pretty interesting stuff to cover, even if it can't really be considered major. It is still certainly intriguing, and it may hint at some movement behind the scenes beginning to take place. Really quickly, before we dive into things, I just have to point out that by the time I am releasing this video, we will either have just passed or be right at the cusp of hitting 11,000 subscribers. And I really don't know what I can say that I haven't before, but thank you all so much. Whether you've been here since before Warlords or you just joined yesterday, it will eternally mean the world to me that anyone feels compelled to continually return to my channel and hear what I have to think and say about the Division. This franchise has changed my life. 2022 is going to be its biggest year yet. Heartland, what we're talking about today, is such an exciting project to think about, and the day we finally get it in our hands, I know this channel is going to go to some amazing places, so thank you all so much for choosing to come on that journey with me. I cannot wait. So, with all that said, let's dive into our first Heartland update video of the new year. So, the meat of this update, or I suppose where my little investigation began, was the news that there has been yet another patch pushed to the console closed test clients for Heartland. I reported on one of these in my previous Heartland video, and you will see right here that PlayStation Game Size reported on Friday how there has been a new 20.124 gigabyte update given to the client, bringing it to the 1.002.000 version. Which, and you would see right below the area I screenshotted, they quote tweeted their December post informing people of the first update. So the timeline as it stands now is that this closed Heartland client gets added to the console stores and databases in mid-November. I believe it was. That's where we got that game description and that piece of artwork that was so controversial. Oh man, hey, actually my copyright strike expires in like a month, so there we go. And now then, Red Storm has given the game, or the client, on their two updates, at least the PlayStation version, one in December and now one at the start of January. It's unknown if Xbox is receiving similar patches. I would imagine that it is, but I've yet to find an account that posts updates on this sort of stuff the way that PlayStation Game Size has been doing. So if you're aware of one, certainly let me know down in the comments below. Also, I will quickly shout out that the quickest way you're going to see stuff like this is to follow me on Twitter itself. My username is @rogue_gold. Link is in this video's description if you care to check it out. Alright, so Heartland's console version got another update. Well, lucky for you all, my investigation did not end there. And I was fortunate enough to stumble across something pretty interesting in snooping around Twitter for further Heartland updates. I came across another account that posted the news of another patch being published for the Heartland client. However, this one went a bit further. You can see right here that it is orbuspatches.com. It's a similar account that posts updates on additions to the PlayStation Store. However, their tweet linked to a post they made on their own website, and upon clicking on that, you can see that not only do they have a record of all the previous updates made to this closed test client, but that there are associated patch notes for these two updates, which is actually kind of crazy that we haven't heard of these before now. Now, they're not super detailed, which isn't terribly surprising, but as you can see, it lists three main components: network and connectivity improvement, matchmaking optimization, and stability fixes. Now, it does list those three things for both the December and January updates, but this site is kind of nice because you can see the dates that both of those updates went live. So this most recent one was back on the 4th, and it took a few days for this account and PS Game Size to catch wind of it, I suppose. Now, I don't know if there's any significance to the firmware requirement changes you can see there between December and January. Honestly, I don't entirely know what it even means, but this site might be a nice place to keep an eye on in the future if you want to see those updates. As for the patch notes themselves, obviously nothing too significant. I suppose if you knew absolutely nothing about the game, the mention of matchmaking might be somewhat insightful, but I think that it was probably pretty expected for most of us. Alright, and then we have one final story to cover to wrap up this news recap, and that is if you head on over to Red Storm's website, you will see a new job listing for a position that may be somewhat insightful into what stage of development they're currently at with Heartland. So let's skip over there real quick. And so under careers, you will see that they have added a job listing for a build release engineer. Now, before I get into that, you can see that this was posted on January 4th, which is the same day that that newest update was released to the console client. I don't know if that holds any significance. I kind of just wonder if that was like the first day that they got back to work after the holiday break, but either way, that could mean something, maybe not. But a build release engineer, with my limited knowledge of game development, holds some significance for where they might be in development because, as the name suggests, you are basically managing and guiding the releases of different builds to clients that are on some sort of platform. So it's not like you're in the middle of development and, I mean, maybe, again, take all my words here with a grain of salt. I am not an expert in this stuff in the slightest. But you can see, if we go, that's company description, job description. Redstorm is looking for a build release engineer to join our team in aiding developers to create new AAA experiences. You will be doing blah, 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 blah. At Redstorm, we expect our build release engineers to spend some of their time researching new ways to solve problems and half their time solving problems to be proactive as possible. The one notable responsibility I saw down here was, develop and maintain documentation of the build and release process. So, in my mind, that sounds like, putting builds and releases out on these closed clients, whether it's on console, on PC, on whatever, or once the game actually releases and they do live updates, those are also new builds that you're pushing to the live servers. So this seems like a person that you bring on later on into development, right? Whether it be you're still working on those closed testing platforms or you're in a more live and open setting. Either way, the fact that they're now looking for someone like this and that they posted it, like I said, just days ago, holds some significance to me. Again, doesn't necessarily mean anything specific, but I think it is, interesting to look at in context with this other stuff nonetheless. All right, everyone, that is going to do it for today's installment of your Heartland News Update. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on these news bites. Do you foresee these console client updates indicating anything happening soon with the Division Heartland? What do you think of Redstorm's build release engineer hiring? I'll certainly be very curious to read through everyone's thoughts. I'm not going to try and say we're so close to the reveal because at this point it's impossible to tell what the plan is with these guys. One thing I will say is that we do have that February 23rd date that came with the original console publication just kind of floating around out there. And so the further we get into January, we should maybe get some clarification on if that actually held any significance or not. If it did, then we're probably going to start hearing some stuff. And if not, then we'll just be waiting a bit longer. Either way, you know that I will be there the minute the official news is finally released about the game. So be sure to keep your eye here on the channel for that fateful day. That's going to do it for me today, though, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.